Okay, I am recording now for you. The first step that you're going to do is make sure you turn your paper vertical. All right, and so when we turn our paper vertical, let's listen up, and because I have the everything recording right now, Donald, I have everything recording. Um, what room? Sherman, where is this? 2354 maybe? No, no problem. I'm going to put some tape here on my paper so that it does not move around. Sometimes when the paper move around, you can always tape it down so it doesn't move. That will make your lines nice and even and straight. Um, for those of you that aren't using a ruler and just freehand drawing, you might want to use a ruler because your grade is low when you put crooked lines everywhere and just turn it in. So there's no freehand drawing unless we aren't using a ruler. And when I put the supplies on the board and I put ruler, that's exactly what you need to make lines straight. So we understood already that when we do one point perspective, we are going to start with a horizon line. So the horizon line for this project is a little toward the top of the paper, not quite in the middle. I want you to draw as lightly as you can, placing that line across. I'm going to draw a little darker only because I want you to be able to see exactly what I am doing. And with this part of the assignment, we're not doing 2 point or 3 point perspective. We're only going to do the 1 point, right? And we have learned that if we put one dot in the on the horizon line, our road and different parts of the building or boxes can come from that vanishing point, right? Now you can choose where you want your vanishing point to be, but if you choose it to be in the middle, you can put that there or to the right side a little bit or to the left. Now, if you do to the right, only put it like maybe here to the right on the handout because you will have some houses right over there to the right and to the left. So I'm going to choose a little to the left of the middle for my vanishing point. Remember, don't draw too dark because we're going to be erasing these things. Obviously, I'm going to draw dark for you so that you can see it from the projector. So now we have learned that we have the horizon line. That is the line that meets the sky and the ground. We have our vanishing point where we're creating depth. Depth is when it recedes far away. So just like we did the railroad track and we did the crosswalk drawing, let's create a road path and a sidewalk coming from the what? Vanishing point. So we're not going to go right in the corner, but really close to the corner, but not quite because we do have a sidewalk. So we've completed step one, horizon line. Step two, vanishing point. Step three, a vertical line coming from the vanishing point that is slanted, almost a diagonal. Now let's proceed to create another line, but not in the corner of the paper. It's going to be a little further away from the corner because we have our sidewalk and curb that we're going to draw. And I like how this sidewalk and curb is on our reference photo. It's giving us really good illusion of a real house community. We will do a little bit of erasing, no worries. So remember to continue to draw lightly. Now let's go to this left side over here. We're going to create about two more lines coming from the vanishing point. One of these lines, if you look at your reference, is the curb step off. So it's going to be close to the first one, but not quite on the first one. the next one here is going to appear to be further away. So I like to hold my ruler on the vanishing point and then move the ruler outward, and it's going past the corner of the paper and draw the finishing part of the sidewalk. Now let's create the sidewalk cracks, just some horizontal lines. We're going to lay our ruler horizontally, and let's put some really close to the vanishing point, and they will appear smaller, okay? And you don't have to go all the way over through the curve, the drop off curve, just to the first and then that second line, not the third one, like so. Making sure your ruler is nice and horizontally straight on that paper. Thank you. Now the illusion that we're getting is the horizontal lines that we're drawing, they appear to get smaller as they go toward the vanishing point. It's not like we actually drew them smaller. We only used that particular space. And so it gave that illusion. Now we could even drop off the side curve walk here by creating vertical lines going down, but you don't have to do that part if you don't want to. It's not on the reference, but I'm going to show you how it looks. I just hold my pencil on that crack line, and I hold it vertical, and I make sure it's really nice and straight. Now again, you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just like the appearance of it, like it's a drop down curve. Give you another minute. I see you still getting to this point. All right, I see you already. So now let's hop over to the right side, and we're going to do a little different. Let's look at our reference now. Let's notice that the reference shows us that there is a short vertical diagonal line before it reveres over to the right. So we're going to do that as well, but we're going to hop down a little further than they did just to give us some space. So I'm going to show you how that's going to look. It's on slightly on the vanishing point, but let's scoot it over just a smidget. And then we'll stop there, and then we're going to take that line over halfway to the paper. We're going to leave some space on the right side because we do see a really large house. So I'm not going to go all the way over to my paper. I'll probably just stop maybe here because I can put that house there with a tree on the side. And in this space here, we're going to add a couple of other houses as well. Now, when we were in elementary school, we learned how to draw houses by using shapes. We use what shape? Squares to draw the house and triangles. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn that triangle into an actual 3D rooftop for a house, and then how to make that square look like a cube to show the house is 3D. And it's actually simple because you have already drawn a box, right? And you showed that box, and that box is how we're going to draw the house. All right. Our next step is let's go ahead now and hop down, skip a space, and we're going to continue out that curved space line. But notice I'm skipping the space, going all the way off the paper and then over again to meet that line. And that line, this here space could have been wider if I went a little wider with my ruler. And if that happened for you and you did go wider to show this sidewalk space, that's cool. If you didn't go wider, it's not a big deal. But we can now begin to put some sidewalk cracks on. Don't forget to skip down a space. It's actually a double line, isn't it? So I did need to go over here. My bad, y'all. I did actually need to go over some more because my even teachers make mistakes. There was two lines creating that sidewalk, just like the other side. Erase. And then I can drop down like we dropped down on the other side. And there we go. That's way much better. I'm so sorry about that. So we actually did have one, two, three lines coming from the vanishing point. Okay. I'll let you get to this point before I go to the next step. I like this one because it even showed a street sign there. What you gonna name your street? Mine is gonna be Sherman Avenue. Join me on Sherman's Avenue or Sherman Street. Hmm. No. Do you want to start on the right side or the left side with the house? Hmm. Right side over here. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the. I think I could go with. What do I want to go with? I want to go with a square. And we're going to place the square starting below the curb line. And I'm going to show you how that looks. And we're going to draw this house slightly above the horizon line. Slightly above the horizon line and below this curve that we have here. All right, so let's make a square. I might not end up getting a house of the trees, but I'm gonna try. I didn't close, I'm not gonna close that square up over here on that side just yet. because I have a feeling that I'll be able to add a nice tree, like like right here. I can add like one of those trees that we did for the crosswalk, right? And I personally don't, I'm not as detailed when I'm drawing sketches like this, but if I was painting this or adding extra hyper realistic details, I would really, really focus in on the best details I could think of when I am drawing. But sometimes I just like to get its basic shapes down and lines. So I'm always familiar that a tree is not a perfect circle. It has some curves to it, don't it? And the trees usually have a darker shadow on its side, and the grass looks like it's like horizontal, no, vertical zigzag lines and kind of straight pokey lines. So try to express that. And I like to put a shadow underneath the tree surface just to give some even more realism. Hopefully you can see that. And if you can't, remember, if you can't see from the projector very well, I'm actually live streaming right now via Google Classroom under the YouTube channel. So you can see me on your laptop or your phone and won't have to squint your eyes to see the projector area. Okay? So let's get rid of a line that we don't need before we continue to form the house. We don't need this line here going through our house, do we? That's totally unnecessary. Now, we could have used it for the windows if we wanted to, but I didn't quite want to for that one, okay? Now, for this house, it's going to give us the illusion of a different illusion here than the handout, okay? And I didn't want that one there. So we're going to take this corner, left corner of the vanishing point, and go halfway up and close the rooftop. And again, slightly different than the handout because the handout is giving us a more two-point perspective viewpoint, showing two sides, and this one is showing one side of the house and the rooftop. Now, a lot of you on the first project that we did, you showed me how you could draw a chimney, okay? And I remember you showing me that. So even if you wanted to add a chimney here on the top, you could sketch it in really cool and lightly if you wanted to. Creating a shadow on that rooftop always. Just want that to look a little three-dimensional, right? Like a brick. And if you are good with shingles, you could even do shingles, okay? Or metal rooftop. And just show those expressionistic lines. They don't have to be a lot of lines. Now, this is quite different than just drawing a square and a triangle for the roof, right? To show front of view. In elementary, we would have done that. But for high school, we're showing a three-dimensional aspect. We're showing the rooftop and the front. Then we can begin to add in some windows. I like to come from that vanishing point. You can choose however many windows you want on your house, okay? And notice the bottom window sill, how it goes to the what? Vanishing point. My windows still go to the vanishing point. Apparently they got some shingles on this house. Now, as you notice that if I draw a line on the top and the bottom to create a door or a window, I still take those lines to the vanishing point. Or it's gonna kind of look weird because then you will have like a frontal view and a side window or front windows and side view of a house. Hmm. Oh, wait until I finish demonstration. Going to add the door. Going to point the ruler to the vanishing point first to create the top of the door because I want it to look like a side view. You, if you don't want to do it like that, you really don't have to. I just find for some reason it can look good and sometimes it can look different. So I could just take it if you didn't want it to point to the vanishing point, and I can create the front part of the house door like so. That will be your choice. It's a little wide for a door. Oh, I was gonna do a double door with the window in it. This almost look like a church or okay. Might put in a couple of windows here on the side. And a little shingles. And when we do these kind of things, we're showing just realism because we do know that in real life, you know, you would have some of these details in front of a house, like you have the what do you call it, shrubs, the little bushes in the front, and we probably even have a walkway, wouldn't we? And you don't have to put this walkway if you don't want to, but in real life, I'd probably have a some kind of pavement there to walk up to the house from the sidewalk. So the point of drawing is to actually make something that is 2D and flat look as real as we possibly can via paper and pencil. Okay? And we're gonna stop on that house. We'll go to another one in a minute. I'm gonna let you get caught up. Using your ruler, please. I did freehand a lot of the small details though, because it's hard to do that, isn't it? You're doing a great job. you're still drawing, so I'll give it about 30 more seconds. If you do have, while we're waiting on the other ones, if you do have your little stub and stick that came with your art set, I like to take it, give myself some shadows. That's only if you have this. And when I do the shadows, it even helps the drawing to look even more three-dimensional. But if you don't have this in your drawing set, it's okay. Now, we're going to create the very far left house here. It's this big one right there. And this is going to be a little different. The first step I want you to do is draw you a vertical line close to the curb and above the horizon line. This is going to give a 2-point perspective viewpoint, even though we don't have 2 vanishing points. We're just going to take that line off the paper as if there's a vanishing point all the way to the left of the paper. But it's imaginary. Very imaginary. So with 2-point perspective, you will always start with the corner of the house or the building. And in our case, the house, we're starting with the corner. Now what we want to do is show the side of the house and on the right and a little bit of the front of the house on the left or the side, okay? Now, the side view. What do? Do we just make a rectangle here, or do we take the lines at the top and the bottom to the vanishing point? We take the lines to the vanishing point. So I lay my ruler down, and I don't go all the way to the vanishing point. I get really close to it, but not on it. I kind of go about here, and then I stop, because I do see a little baby building next to it. And then the bottom line, again, to that vanishing point. Equal distance here if you want, if you can, like so. Remember to continue to draw lightly so that you can properly erase. That's why you can still see some of my pencil lines over here, because obviously I can't erase as well. Now let's close the side of the house using a vertical line with the ruler. We're not going to erase all of this horizon line coming through the building, the house, because I want to use it as a part of the windows. So this line here is going to be a part of the 3 windows that we see, and I'm going to sketch those a little bit darker so that you can see those 3 lines. But the top of that window sill, let's do the vertical first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I close it up going to the vanishing point. 1, 2, 3. See how that made it look like it's a side view windows going over to the vanishing point? And obviously I can erase the in-betweens. Voila, windows. And if you're the type of person that likes to go even further with details, you can put planter's ledge here. You can draw curtains in the inside. That's if you're the type that like to go to the extra like I do. You can add shingles on if you like. Just do all kind of things with these drawings by making them look so realistic. And as an architect, if you are going into architecture, you'll be using 1 point and 2 point and 3 point perspective to do rough draft drawings, even on the iPad or the computer. You'll be drawing those details when you're an architect. Is there anybody in here going into architecture as a career? So if you did choose to, then you're one step ahead in learning how to use perspective drawing. Now let's add front door on. And all the details that it has a step. And the step lines go over to that vanishing point as well. Slowly, knock, knock, ring the doorbell. Put a doorbell on mine. Throwing a couple of windows on the side of the house, same way we did the top windows. And we did a lot of the details on this side of the house before we even finished the other side. That's all good. The other side of the house is a little unique because it's going to show us a triangle. So what we want to do is we want to, how did I do this last time? Okay, we're going to close up the left side before we add the triangle on the top. This time I am going to erase that line going through. Now this is showing front view, right? Well, there's a triangle on this house, so we are going to create the triangle before we can draw the left side of the house. So, where's the center? Find the center, find the center. Then draw your triangle, find your center first. This is very realistic now, isn't it? At first, it didn't seem like we'd get to this point, huh? Now, can someone tell me how I would make the right side of the house look more three-dimensional? I will, thank you, sir. I will take now this here tip of the triangle, draw a line down to the vanishing point, but you don't have to go all the way. You can go about this far, and then we'll create another slanted line to close the back side of the rooftop. Now, if the vanishing point was more in the center, this rooftop will give more wide width. It will be wider. But being as we're so close to the vanishing point, my rooftop isn't as wide. And then you can add some awesome details in there. You can put Koba's window on Planet of the what? Apes. Koba was up there like, hello, let me out. I want to play. It's one little lonely window, but I want this to be a bay window. Y'all got bay windows? You don't have to do a bay window. You can do a regular window if you wanted to. Somebody got the curtains out open. Details, 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 right? And this house could be a brick house, it could be a wood house. You can really play with it any type of way you want it to. Um, and like now, from this point, we can start to add even more houses right here in this area, and trees and stop signs and etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that as you are doing yours. And I did see that other house do have a cross sidewalk leading to their house, huh? And I'm gonna put a little tree here, and then I'm gonna start my next house. I'm gonna actually use the horizon line for my next house. Triangle. It's already on the vanishing point. Way cool. I didn't notice that. And these are the same steps that I've already taught you. That's why I'm not talking it through, because I've literally done this with you already. This same house here is exactly how we just did the left one. shed. Now, each of these houses or sheds that I'm drawing, I'm using the same steps that I did
Please
right
release
here.
all ears to go to the tab for their dog pressing down presentation. Please release all ears at this time.
And if you could write your name on it with a pencil, I mean, not a pencil, something that can't be erased, and you can hand it to me. I'll put a note on it that you left early. Okay? Now, I can't forget my street sign. Y'all almost made me forget my street sign over here. It's Sherman Street. Is it with the pen? You want your name with a pen? So it's where your name at? Mm. Is there a color pencil over there? Get a color pencil. I don't want anybody to erase and take credit for it. Because that can happen real easy, all right? Put my street sign over here. Welcome to Sherman Street. Thanks, love. I'm gonna write a note that you left early so you can finish. Thank you. Okay, your job now, without my help, is to finish drawing about 4 more houses right here, or 3 more, excuse me, 3 more houses here. In this space here, and you can add grass or trees or mountaintop, you know, over on the other side of the vanishing point to show a background. Más houses, 3 more houses. Huh? You have a question? Are you on your phone talking to somebody? So we're gonna have 3 more houses, all right? Right here in this area. Left early. And we are not coloring this, we're just using pencil and ruler today, okay? Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think someone else had asked me. It was you? Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'm gonna end streaming now, but continue to add your 3 more houses right in this area here. Add a background, whether that's sky, mountains, or hills. You can put dashes in the road. You can put cars on the road. You can put anything to make this a better grade for you and show a realistic approach to the housing community. People, it could be people, kids playing, Right over here could be a little garden, just make it realistic. It improves your grade immensely.